Coming up next on Headline Humboldt, a Eureka preschool teacher has been arrested and the school's director removed after the instructor allegedly slammed a child up against a wall. Also, Amanda Peçanha Hickey from the California Center for Rural Policy at Cal Poly Humboldt joins us to talk about Redwood Region Rise and its efforts to spur economic growth and job formation in Humboldt County. Coming up now on Headline Humboldt. From the top of Humboldt Hill, this is Headline Humboldt. I'm your host, James Falk. Thanks for joining us. The question, as always, is how do we strike the appropriate balance? For years here on the North Coast, there's been a struggle between those who want economic development, industrial-type commercialization, versus those who like Humboldt County precisely because it lacks that seething and profit-oriented infrastructure. For generations, the extractive industries of the past had a stranglehold on the region's bottom line, and they employed thousands of North Coast workers. Without their investment and initiative, Humboldt County wouldn't have become the community it is today. But following Redwood Summer and the ultimate collapse of those industries, the region has been struggling to define itself. Are we on the hunt for a new economic engine that could support North Coast families, or are we more concerned with trying to hem off the economic tides and preserve Humboldt County's countercultural and environmental identity? Obviously, it's not a binary choice. Today, we speak with Amanda Peçanha Hickey from the California Center for Rural Policy at Cal Poly Humboldt, whose RISE program is working to expand economic opportunity on the North Coast in a way that fits the region and its people. Decades ago, things might have been simpler, fewer choices, but more individual opportunity for a livable wage within those choices. But those days are gone, and the decisions we make today will shape how future generations of local residents make their livings and treat our planet. But first, the news. The director of Winsler Children's Center has been placed on administrative leave and a teacher arrested after a student was reportedly slammed up against a school wall. Winsler Director Elizabeth Rice was placed on administrative leave pending the effective date of her resignation. The alleged abuse occurred 2 weeks ago. According to the Lost Coast Outpost, Rice failed to immediately report the incident to authorities and the child's parents, and she also allowed the employee to return to work the next day. Per Loco, on February 29th, Winsler aide Alice Helen Abler was arrested at Winsler on allegations of child endangerment and corporal injury on a child. It was reported that she slammed a child into the wall. She was booked into the Humboldt County Jail. The state's Community Care Licensing Division issued 2 citations against Winsler Children's Center. First, it found that the preschool failed to ensure that each child is free from, quote, corporal or unusual punishment, infliction of pain, humiliation, intimidation, ridicule, coercion, threat, mental abuse, or other actions of a punitive nature. And second, the agency reportedly found that Rice engaged in conduct that was harmful to the health, morals, welfare, or safety of a child in her care. Director of Student Services Lisa Clausen from Eureka City Schools told the Lost Coast Outpost that said incident has shaken our center to the core. Quote, student safety is our main priority here at Eureka City Schools, especially with our youngest learners, said Clausen. We are fully cooperating with all investigative agencies and are following all necessary plans of correction. We're now joined by Amanda Peçanha Hickey from the California Center for Rural Policy at Cal Poly Humboldt and the Redwood Region Rise program. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
So there's 2 things I want to say right off the bat. When I say Redwood Region Rise, I end up wanting to say Redwood Region Rise, and I don't know why that is.
It's happened to me on Zoom before, so.
It just wants to, fumble out the little Elmer Fudd, I think, is the name for it. But it's an aspirational sounding program. Can you describe for us what it is and how it came to be, sort of generally, so folks can get a sense?
Yeah, absolutely. So Redwood Region Rise, and Rise stands for Resilient, Inclusive, and Sustainable Economy.
Okay.
Actually came to us through a nice chunk of state funding, a program created out of the governor's office, establishing 13 regions across the state. Okay. And the idea is that we are doing a real grassroots level up visioning process for our region that looks to identify, what are those opportunities for the future to establish clean industries that can provide real thriving wage opportunities for families.
Now it's interesting, as I mentioned in the intro, a lot of our past economic engines, so to speak, were not sustainable. I mean, they may have been if they were managed in a way that was bent in that direction, but that's not how they ended up being managed in a lot of cases. How do you judge whether something is sustainable or not? How do you figure out what kind of industries might be better for the health of a community compared to the past?
It's a great question, because really we have to balance honor our history, honor the competencies and the skills that we have here, and our knowledge and what we can grow from, while at the same time recognizing that those industries were not sustainable, that they created a lot of environmental degradation, and that their collapse created economic precarity for our families.
Absolutely.
And so what we're doing is, well, first of all, we're using a lot of data to sort of point us in the right direction. And what we know is that the areas in our economy that is growing and providing those higher wage opportunities, they're really available in the healthcare sector, for one, often in services and in our government and in our public sector, so we can't ignore that. But we are also, of course, looking for those entrepreneurship opportunities and things that are more rooted in the private sector. So we've identified 4 kind of opportunity areas. The first is that healthcare sector, because we are also medically underserved.
Yes, exactly right.
We desperately need healthcare professionals, and we want to grow our own. Those are great opportunities for young people. We have a node, if you will, that we call working lands and blue economy, and I think that's where we're really honoring our past. But at the same time recognizing that we have really innovative regenerative agriculture initiatives that are happening here. We have a new generation of foresters who are doing things differently than were done in the past, and are looking to manage forests in a way that reduce fire risk and also create maybe new opportunities for innovation with some of that material, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there has been a tendency to say flat out logging is a dirty word, but I don't agree with that sentiment. I think it can be done in a way that's sustainable and gives people a living wage, while at the same time kind of being an opportunity for us to demonstrate a level of stewardship that we weren't showing in the past. So
absolutely, I think you used the operative word there, stewardship, because it's also a place where we're so blessed that the original inhabitants of our region are still here on their ancestral lands, our indigenous neighbors, and we have 33 tribal nations, federally and non-federally recognized, that we invite into Redwood Region Rise, and they really 33 in 4 counties, across 4 counties that form our region.
That's a lot more than I would have assumed. That's insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
But good on you guys for including them, but that's 2 of them. What were 2 more nodes?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay, so we got health, we got working lands, and blue economy. Blue economy is we have 3 call areas, if you look, because we're, Del Norte, Mendocino, Humboldt, and Lake. So we're including Noyo Harbor, of course, Humboldt Bay, and Crescent City, and those fisheries there that are still working.
That's the blue part of it.
That's the blue part of it. So
that's
cool. That's all one. And then we've got arts, culture, tourism. Tourism is one of those areas. We're bringing, I don't know how many people, I think 4.5 million is a figure I've heard come through here to visit Redwood National State Park.
Huge.
Huge. I think there's more we could be doing that and celebrating our cultures, which we have wonderful arts. Our artists involved with us who are helping us identify those opportunities. And then renewable and resilient energy, which we're all talking about the offshore wind development, but there are a lot of other innovative things that are happening here with microgrids.
Absolutely. And Blue Lake Rancheria is a big partner in that.
Absolutely, nationally recognized. Yes, absolutely. And there's other really interesting things. Fort Bragg has a pilot where they're using wave energy, and they've been leaders involved with us in our planning efforts. So there's a lot of interesting opportunities that our region could explore.
Yeah. Now, so you've gone out to a lot of these communities and you've held meetings that are still ongoing, correct? So what are those like? And then can you give us a sense of what people are telling you as you guys, some of these people are probably a little bit jaded from past experience with different studies or efforts. So how do you deal with that, and what does it look like from your perspective?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I would say we have 2 kinds of conversations when we're out in community. One, my team are all research nerds based at Cal Poly Humboldt, and we wanted to talk to the professionals in these organizations who have been doing this kind of work for a long time and get their perspectives on it. And there's that sense that these are wicked problems. They're just compounding issues that we have to work through, and we have so little capacity, so little funding to do this work, and people. And so that's some of the stuff that we struggle through, I would say. The second type of conversation that we have are with we would just say concerned community members, and I want to elevate the work of, we have a wonderful outreach partner called North Coast Opportunities based out of Ukiah that help us with this work.
Okay.
And it's just, hearing from, it might be a migrant farm worker or someone who's in a labor union, a teacher, just a resident of our community, and say, what do you see as the opportunity here? What are the things that are concerning you?
Yeah.
And because we're looking at the perspective of someone who might be looking to transition into one of these industries as well.
Yeah. Before you probably started with the development of this, future plan, there was probably, and I think you mentioned it a little bit, an assessment of kind of where we are. Could you talk a little bit about where our region ranks in that 13? System of 13? Are we near the bottom? Where are we at?
Yeah, absolutely. By a lot of key indicators, and I'm always kind of the Debbie Downer, so I'll present some of that first, but then I think we can get to a better place.
Yeah.
It's rough right now for North Coast families in ways that I think haven't been fully recognized by policymakers, by Sacramento, by the broader, some of the broader narratives we hear in the state. So we have, in California, income inequality has really exploded, and you have the top pulling away and the bottom falling out. That's been the story, and a lot of that top pulling away is really driven by the Bay Area and this explosion in incomes that we see through the tech industry.
Yeah.
Up here, what we saw is the bottom pull down, but the top not take off.
I see.
And so if you have, let's say, a bachelor's degree or associates, or maybe just certificate, a GED, and you're working in an entry-level position, you might do just about as well as you would anywhere else in the state, salary-wise. As you try to advance in our region or get more education, you find that you hit a wall. And so that's been kind of part of the story, is we've lost the service industries and those industries that really create those higher wage opportunities, and then lost a lot of key industries.
So there's a lot of wasted talent. I
Yes.
guess you'd say. People sitting around with high degrees or lots of experience, but who don't necessarily have an avenue.
Exactly,
to
they're
work.
not reaching their potential, and I really want to highlight that the prosperity that has been created isn't shared. And so, we, I think, tend to think of ourselves as a less diverse region, but we are increasingly diverse. If you look at younger generations, absolutely growing Latino population, Latinx population, and what we see among workers of color in Humboldt County specifically is they are grossly overrepresented amongst the working poor. So working full-time jobs, but not making ends meet. Now, if you look at an average family in Humboldt County, in our region, so we say 2 adults making a median wage, and they have 2 kids. We can call that a prototypical family. When we looked at the cost of living, what we found is that a family like that will spend up to 97% of their income just meeting basic needs. That is much higher than anywhere else in the state, because we're looking at a ratio of income to cost of living. And I think that fact has gone really under-recognized.
What's interesting about that, and not to cut you off, but you mentioned the successes in places like, the Silicon Valley down south or whatever. There has been an influx of people from down there who are coming with money that they got from purchasing houses, and they buy real estate up here either for a summer home or to rent or to potentially retire to. And it's caused an increased competition for the houses that are here. So that 97%, that a lot of that is housing up here, and we don't have. Our houses are rising, our housing prices are rising along with the rest of the state, but we don't have the rising income to couple with it. And then our power rates are going through the roof. We just had another rate hike, which can amount to hundreds of dollars for an individual family. And the labor market isn't booming in any kind of significant way. So people are stuck in jobs where they can't make much more money, and they're spending way too much of their income. I'm just repeating back to you what you said, but
you nailed it.
Yeah, but that's, it's a terrible problem, and it seems sort of intractable. But your guys' part of your mission is to kind of figure that out. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. I think that we don't have the solutions right now, and these are problems that have been growing, over a long period of time, and they're also not problems that exist in a vacuum. We're amidst a nationwide housing crisis. But we do feel that coming together as a region and exploring these things together and doing some of that collective work, we can come up with a more rural appropriate policy agenda and start to identify some of the solutions, because right now the solutions that are happening at the state level, driven at that level, are really, they're more appropriate to urban areas. And so that's another sort of ulterior motive we have, is to be a voice for rural regions, and we work with a lot of the other very rural regions to be doing that.
Now, you mentioned prior that there's a power in having this many counties work together as opposed to each individual county trying to assess this on their own. Can you talk a little bit about how that strengthens your hand and also your perspective in terms of what limits each economy and what needs to be done?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think if you look at the way economic development planning has traditionally been done, you see in a larger city, they'll have a pretty robust department, might be under the city manager's office, with a lot of dedicated personnel that are out there courting foreign companies to come invest or doing what have you. Here on the North Coast, it's really, really hard for our jurisdictions to invest that in economic development planning. We have some wonderful people who are hard at work, especially here. I want to recognize Go Humco at the county. But, you know, they are spread so thin. And other counties actually have just recently gotten their first economic development professional on staff, and they, you know, really didn't have anyone who's doing that proactive work to try to solve some of these issues. So there's a sense that by working as a region, we can really kind of leverage each other's strength. Everyone brings what they've got to the table, and we might be able to lift each other up. Yeah,
absolutely. And part of what the regional approach seems like it might be able to help address is something we also talked about before the show, which was part of what the constriction is on our economy is infrastructural issues. Can you talk about the primary ones and if those are in the process of being addressed, or how much the addressing of those figures into what you're planning?
Yeah, I really appreciate the question, because it sort of gets at that core kind of rural-urban divide that we find ourselves sometimes up against when we're working on a state-funded program, because it comes up over and over again. Of course, we want to create these thriving wage opportunities for people. But if you don't have anywhere to live, and we're in many ways the epicenter of the housing crisis, we have the highest ratio of unhoused to housed residents in the state, and I hear that it's...
And it's a huge problem everywhere in the state. So
it's a huge problem, and here there's sort of some gravity around that, right? What we also know is that there's real issues with our power grid, and you need to have capacity in your grid to hook up new houses, to hook up new businesses, right? And so that's a concern that comes up when we have those conversations.
Can I ask on that one real quick? Whose responsibility is that to maintain enough power to build out? Is that does counties work? That they, I mean, how did we end up here?
That's a great. I wish I understood better some of the service delivery.
I'm asking a question that's outside of your.
Well, but I do want to highlight, I think we talked a little bit about microgrids and some of these kind of energy sovereignty initiatives, you know, to that say, okay, we're at the mercy of a lot of forces, right, when it comes to infrastructure and service delivery, and not all of it, you know, we can control. But maybe there's some things that we can do to protect our communities and make sure we have what we need, and those are the types of solutions that we're exploring.
Yeah, you know, I mean, part of the issue why I even raised that question is because, you know, people, and I hear this a lot from folks, as we've got these rates increased from PG&E and these other things going on with you know, the wildfires, some of which was caused by decaying infrastructure, and now the build-out limit because we don't have the power necessarily. You know, we've, as citizens of California, have seen the state bail out Pacific Gas and Electric. And then a lot of people got in arrears with the company over COVID because they weren't working or for whatever reason. And so they ended up with $1,000 bills that it was hard to pay off. And it's just, there hasn't been a more clear, demarcation between the haves and the have-nots than in that particular conversation. It's like, when they're having an issue, the state steps up and helps them up. But when regular people they're just not noticed because they're obviously not that significant a driver of the state economy. But it doesn't feel well for a lot of folks to sit there and watch that kind of thing happen.
I think you're hitting a nail on the head here, because you know, it's all well and good to have the best technical solutions to any problem, but when it comes down to it, there's always that element of power, right? And so we're a collaborative where we have, I think, 130 organizations and individuals actively engaged right now, and we're always looking to bring more people in the fold, because at the end of the day, it's important to have a voice, what's going on around, and I think that we have huge potential to be generating energy. We already generate a lot of energy here, right? We've got in Lake County, there's the geysers that produce enough megawatts to power San Francisco, right? And then we're looking at this offshore wind. We have all these other great sustainable energy initiatives, but if that all just gets transmitted out of the arena, right? Right, and
as
that's
we've
an issue
seen
of
all these things happen, like I talked about, that would just seem like a
Exactly.
slap in the face for folks.
Exactly, and so the hope is that by all coming together, by proactively messaging, by taking on these conversations directly, we can have a louder voice for the Redwood Coast.
Yeah. Sam, can we take up that timeline or the graphic that? So I have here the timeline that was in your fact sheet, and it talks about where you've been and where you're going. It's kind of small for people to read, but
very
it gives
complex.
you a sense of the effort that has gone into this. Where are we at in that snaking diagram? And talk a little bit about what you still need from folks if they want to get involved. How should they? At what stage are we at?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I think that timeline says it all. The state's feeling some urgency to get these dollars out to community. As you know, we're going to be heading into an election year, and everything can change, and so there's a sense that we had to move along with it. And I just want to acknowledge that it's actually way too fast. The work that we want to do is about creating shared vision and shared purpose. You don't rush it. But here we are. So what we've accomplished so far is we've established this governance kind of structure for our collaborative. We've gotten a lot of incredible partners on board who are doing that kind of connecting the dots work and figuring out where those opportunities are. And we're trying to deepen their ability to self-govern and get a steering committee and do all those kinds of things that organizations need to stand on their own. So there's a organizational development bit. But the part that I really want to plug is that what we've been building towards with all these different conversations and planning sessions that we're having is the creation of something that will be called the regional roadmap. And that's going to highlight, first of all, it's going to contain a ton of data. I have an incredible research team. They'd love to come and dump it all on you sometime in the future when we release that report. And so it's
That's a standing invite.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I know they would love that. And so it kind of shows some of these dynamics, and then what are those opportunities that we can be seizing in these 4 areas, and what are the types of investments that we're going to make. And so the idea is that it becomes basically this kind of bankable investment plan. So when philanthropic dollars are looking at where they want to situate themselves, or as more federal dollars come out, because we're anticipating a lot with the Inflation Reduction Act, we're channeling it into places that we know are effective.
That we need money.
Exactly.
To go to.
Exactly. So that is going to be towards the end of the summer. We're going to be releasing that for public comment.
Okay. Now, so you are still doing meetings and stuff. What's the tenor of those meetings right now? What are people looking? What are you looking for people to offer?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are looking for people who maybe have some background or expertise in those industry areas that I highlighted, and all this information's up on our website.
And real quick, we can take that web address, Sam. There's the bit.ly, bit.ly/Redwood-Rise. So please check it out. You can find all the information there, how to participate, the timeline, lots of great information.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And we're just having some fun strategy conversations. We're doing, like those, they call it SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. We're also creating an inventory of everyone's economic development project ideas.
I was just going to ask that. What if you get a good idea that seems like, the time isn't right for that, but that sounds great?
Throw it in there,
3 years,
because we're looking at a long horizon here, so we want to hear all of that, and that's what it's about. It's about setting a course and then figuring out, hey, where are some places that we might be able to funnel resources and get us moving on that. We do have available at our disposal soon, later in the summer, $9 million in what is called pre-development funding. So that's for things like feasibility studies, for those sort of more nascent ideas that we have, permitting, things to help get projects ready.
Apply for those, or how is that going to be made available
throw
for folks?
Throw your idea in our project inventory, and it'll be considered. That's sort of we use it kind of like a letter of intent, effectively, for those funds.
Sure. So you're getting a database of those things together, and then when you are done with that process, or at least later on in the summer, you'll be able to go back and say, well, these several need something now to kind of get going.
Yeah, we have our collaborative engaged in identifying, oh, this project is really, really aligned. This might, and they'll make recommendations and then it'll be voted on. It's a very democratic process.
Yeah.
And, for those projects that maybe aren't so aligned with the vision here of transition to carbon neutrality and providing thriving wage jobs, not everything fits at the core of that. We'll still be hoping to provide some capacity support to pursue other grant funds as they become available.
Yeah. Now you mentioned before that you've been here for 3 years, and then you found the job after you got here, which is a success story that I kind of wanted to highlight because you don't hear those a lot. But what's it been like to sort of use this as your journey to kind of understand the community where you live, and what did you learn that most surprised you about Humboldt County and its history, any of that kind of thing?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna get emotional with that one. James, I was telling you a little earlier, I came during COVID. I was working in Washington, D.C. It was miserable at that time, and I thought, oh, I'm just gonna come up and volunteer on a farm and learn permaculture and, find myself. And then
it's a great place to do it.
Yeah, apparently, because then I couldn't go back. And I thought that your introduction to this conversation was just so perfect. This region is incredibly special. Its history is so special and so alive, and the ethic, I think that the people I meet here have some of the deepest connection to this land that of anyone I've ever worked with, and I worked in agricultural development for most of my career. And there's that just really special, innovative spirit. People don't hamstring themselves by what is conventional or the ways other people have done it, and I think that if we're successful in this, that'll be why.
Yeah. Absolutely, I love that answer. We only have about a minute left. When people hear about this and they want to shrug their shoulders and say, oh, another effort from the bureaucrats to figure something out, I don't get the sense that's the case. How do you reassure folks, to send them off? What do you say in response to that kind of tired jadedness from folks?
Yeah, first of all, I have to validate their viewpoint because I do share it at times.
Well, there you go,
And I say, this program is this messy, it's being administered by 3 different agencies at the state level who've never worked together before. It can be kind of a roller coaster ride, but there are real resources involved, so why don't we see what we can get out of it? Let's find a way to make it work for us.
Yeah, absolutely, and it sounds like you guys are hard at work doing that.
We're trying.
I appreciate you coming in, and I appreciate everything you're doing, and please, when you guys have something more to share in terms of data or whatever else, come back on the show, and we'll talk more about it and get into the nitty-gritty.
Really can't wait. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That's it for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Remember to stay tuned and stay informed.